We get a very candid interview with Elon, accompanied with a short look at the Model 3 production line, and Tesla is out of the Model X NTSB crash investigation. This is Tesla Tidbits episode number 391 for April 16th, 2018. The big news to start the week off is the full release of the CBS This Morning interview that was drip-fed to us at the end of last week. The whole episode seemed to be an Elon mea culpa. Yet again, Elon cops to putting too much technology into a new model of vehicle, just like with the Model X. Really, we shouldn't be surprised, as Elon just can't help himself. Seconds later, we hear Elon make an astounding admission. The interviewer says, quote, "Part of the thing I heard about the Model 3 is that there's too many robots," end quote. And then Elon interjects saying, quote, yeah, I agree, end quote. She responded saying, quote, "You think so too? Maybe you need some more people in here," end quote. And Elon responded again saying, quote, "We do," end quote. For the coup de grace, she finishes asking, quote, "In some cases, the robots actually slow the production," end quote. Elon responds saying, quote, "Yes, they do. We had this crazy complex network of conveyor belts, and it was not working, so we got rid of that whole thing," end quote. For all the talk of the alien dreadnought being the future of the company, where the only use for humans was to repair the machines that made the vehicles, we have Elon saying there are too many robots in the picture. Following the change-up, Elon is optimistic on the increase of production. The interviewer asks if Elon thinks that the existing 2,000 a week pace was sustainable. He responded, quote, "We'll probably have, a 3- or 4-fold increase in Model 3 output in the second quarter," end quote. The episode ends with Elon on an optimistic note, speaking on production hell. Quote, "At this point, I have a clear understanding of the path out of hell, and I did not until recently have a clear understanding," end quote. So this is going to be another rare instance where you're going to get my opinion along with the news story. Frankly, I don't know what to make of this. This almost seems to be a media-assisted Elon apology to reservation holders, along with his hopefulness that Tesla can meet its goals going forward. It really should be no surprise at this point that Tesla has missed its goals. It's a broken record with the company, and something that really you're either going to give them a pass on or you're not. It's really not even anything worth mentioning any longer, sadly. It's something that should almost be expected, and then folks should be very pleasantly surprised if a timeline is met or beaten. Anyone that has paid any attention to the company for any length of time knows the concept of Elon time. Of course, that doesn't help any of you fine folks in the audience that hold reservations for the car. But, as I've just said, you're all expecting this too, right? It just becomes a question of how badly the miss ends up being. The interviewer concluded the show saying that Elon promised that all folks that reserved when the car was unveiled last July should expect to get their car within 3 to 6 months, which is about 6 to 9 months beyond the original expectation. This takes a bit of unpacking too, though. Firstly, the car was unveiled much longer than last July, but let's just assume that this was meant to refer to the actual unveil over 2 years ago. This is simply not a true statement. The standard range battery will not be available until early 2019 by Tesla's own admission. Not even close to everyone that ordered at an unveil will have their car in 3 to 6 months. Unless, of course, things progress mightily between now and then. But then, we're back on Elon time again, so we can't really rely on this time frame anyhow. I've come to the point as a Model 3 reservation holder turned Model S owner that time frames coming from Elon mean nearly nothing to me. You may already have noticed this in my reporting, and if not, you'll likely notice it going forward. We end today with Teslarati and an update on the Model X crash. Depending on perspective, Tesla either quit the investigation or was booted from said investigation. We already knew from an earlier report that the NTSB was none too pleased that Tesla released information related to the investigation before the NTSB was ready for it to be public. However, Tesla stated that they felt they couldn't withhold important information despite the NTSB's objections. Quote, "Tesla withdrew from the party agreement with the NTSB because it requires that we not release information about autopilot to the public, a requirement which we believe fundamentally affects public safety negatively. We believe in transparency, so an agreement that prevents public release of information for over a year is unacceptable," end quote. Although no longer a formal part of the investigation, Tesla committed to provide technical assistance where needed to the NTSB. Despite Tesla's claims, a Bloomberg source says that it was the NTSB that made the decision to remove Tesla following a quote-unquote tense conversation between NTSB chief Robert Sumwalt and Elon Musk. Tesla followed with a sternly worded statement, pretty much calling the NTSB a pile of hypocrites. Quote, "It's been clear in our conversations with the NTSB that they're more concerned with press headlines than actually promoting safety. Among other things, they repeatedly released partial bits of incomplete information to the media in violation of their own rules, at the same time that they were trying to prevent us from telling all the facts. We don't believe this is right, and we will be making an official complaint to Congress. We will also be issuing a Freedom of Information Act request to understand the reasoning behind their focus on the safest cars in America while they ignore the cars that are the least safe. Perhaps there is sound rationale for this, but we cannot imagine what that could possibly be." End quote. Not the first time that Tesla has vehemently defended itself after accusations against it, and probably not the last either. You can check out the links to the full stories in the show description. While you're doing that, please consider supporting the show financially through Patreon at patreon.com/Tesla Tidbits. A shout out today to new patron Jake Thone, whose name I hope I didn't just destroy. Thanks very much also to our super patrons out there supporting the show at the $10 plus level. They are John Waltower, Drew Schuyler, John Waller, Mark and Sarah Thomas, Ryan Scarborough, Lee Sweet, William Henry Crew III, Dorian Steve Guberman, Bruno Quindici, Joey Boots, Ralph and Cheryl Waterhouse, Adam Raymer Brown, Megawatt Photovoltaic Development, Todd Sullivan, Robert Healy, Mitch Long, and Zortec LED Canada. If you can't support with dollars, be sure to show your love with positive reviews and subscriptions on YouTube, iTunes, and other services across the internet. That's it for today's episode. If you have feedback for me, the best way to be heard is to tweet at Tesla Tidbits and use the hashtag AskTeslaTidbits if you'd like your question to be considered for the show. I'll see everyone back here again tomorrow. Until then, keep it charged and hit the road.